Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra. I'm a mom of someone I'm touched by addiction. Who am I kidding? I'm touched by addiction. I lost my son, Ben, and many people that have been watching for years have known Ben. And we have wonderful Luke here, yay, who's also been touched by addiction, and he's in recovery. And he's been in recovery for a couple years now.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad to have you here because the wonderful thing about this is that we share our stories.
Yeah.
And our stories we were talking about how parallel they are. Like what I've gone through and what you've gone through are very similar.
Yeah.
As a loved one, as someone who's used, right? We talk about grief, and there's grief of loss. Like I've lost my son and it effing sucks. It totally sucks. But I've learned so much. Like there's so many wonderful things about what I've learned over the years. And we're here because we need to keep these people alive.
Yeah.
And you were in it. Like you were deep in it.
Yeah.
And, maybe you could share a little bit of what you went through and some of the grief that you had. Like you've had losses, probably of family, whatever, so you've had loss.
Yeah. And like we were talking earlier, grief in like so many ways. Like we can go to the place of like grieving that old way of life when there was good times in it, right? Because like we were talking, like you can't. Sometimes I can get caught up and share and just have like the dark times. But when it first started, like there were these good times that I wanted to live in that place forever.
Right.
So you're grieving that fact that you can't go back to that. And there's like a line that you crossed, I think, in addiction and alcoholism that like once you cross that line, like you can never recapture those old fun times and you're chasing them. And like grieving that is a big one, right? And old friends. I had to step away from old friends that when I look at now, in that loss has become like rebirth of new people in my life in recovery that like genuinely do care about me, right? So like in that grief and going through that process, like new beginnings start and new opportunities.
You're attracting different people now.
Yes, yeah.
Because I just want to say, like, when you're talking about, the loss of those good times, I'm putting them in quotes because even Ben was telling me, well, you don't get it. Like, there's fun times and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but he didn't recognize at that time how it was affecting the rest of his life and the people that love him.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, because the fun's like, it's more pleasure, right? It's not an actual, like today I have joy in things I do where like back then, okay, the party and at the start was fun, but it was still that like pleasure I was seeking, right? And that sense of relief.
Right.
But in the moment, you're like, this is amazing. Right. Like we're having fun, right?
Right. But then you skip ahead and then the grief, the loss. Sadly, Ben lost his life to addiction. Many people have lost their life to addiction. And, I'm continuing to do these videos because we need to talk about it. Ben was an amazing human being. And if he had that opportunity to recover, he would be sitting here with me.
Yeah. 100%.
Exactly like you and sharing your story and recovery. So we need to remember that. We need to remember that there is hope amongst all this darkness. And so, as someone that's been there, what would you say to those people struggling? Because I'm sure they feel broken, alone, and they're numbing themselves. And sure, they're probably having some fun times. But what would you say to them? Because there are probably people watching. I know just from some comments that they may feel like they're at a loss. And I know with Ben, he's like, there's no way I could recover. He just couldn't imagine recovery because it's so deep.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
I like, because I've been there before, and I try and put it like, what could somebody say, or what would have like, I had no purpose in my life.
Oh.
I literally felt like when I was in that place out, like the people I may be talking to right now, I felt like I was just renting space in life.
Right.
It'd be better off if I wasn't here. That's how I felt. And I would tell people, like, you are not the only person that is feeling that right now. Like, it might feel like there's no way out of it, but there is hope for everybody. There is. And I do believe the window of opportunity sometimes is so small. And if I didn't take the actions that I took when I went into rehab right away and got into recovery groups, that might have, because I was pretty good when things were going wrong.
Right.
Being like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But then like some time would go by with not taking action. And it was like, ooh, I'm not feeling that great. I need a drink. I need a drug. And I would say to people, like, you have a purpose in your life. I didn't know I had a purpose here. And all that darkness right now, when I remember being in the jail cell and wanting to end my life, like, all of that is a purpose today. I get to share that story with this youth group as a peer support today.
Oh,
and
that's
I did
amazing.
not think I would be allowed to work with, like, youths that struggle with addiction.
Right.
And my goal is to breathe hope into them. You know, if you feel like nobody's there backing you up, there's people in recovery that are going to love you until you can love yourself again. And that's the biggest thing. You're lovable. You're worthy.
You are worthy. That's huge. And I know when you're in those dark spaces, it's hard to believe. But, you know, you're proof of that. I'm proof of that. I've lost my son, and I'm still here, and I'm still breathing. And he may have been silenced, but I still have my voice. And I'm going to continue to share because, and you say purpose, when Ben was here, he couldn't find his purpose. I truly believe he lived his purpose because his purpose was to help me. We started this video, this YouTube channel because of Ben. He shared his story even when he was in the dark places. He was a helper and so I think it was in him to help others, just like it's in you to help others. And this is proof of an amazing human being. Like, you know, you were like Ben at one time. And you got out of it. So, you know, we want to share that there is hope and there is recovery. And sometimes it may look so dark and you need to take that step. I feel you. I feel you to the core. I feel the family members because it is not an easy road at all to watch your loved ones struggle and you can't help them.
Yes. Yeah. And I
you
think,
can't help them.
I think a big thing, like you saying that as a mother, if people are listening to this struggling with addiction, I know it might come off as our family members are very disappointed and disgusted, but they didn't get a rule book or a playbook of what would happen if one of their kids turned to drugs and alcohol. And believe it or not, it is a place of love. They just want to see us get better. And for me, it took me talking to people that I could relate to, and over time my parents started, you know, having some sort of understanding. But I always remember some of the battles I had with my mom. We would get nasty with each other. And I know it's just because that woman loved me and wanted to see her baby boy do well.
Amen. And that is it. And so I feel those loved ones to the core. And I had to learn to love him from a distance and love him with boundaries for myself, for my own sanity. And so as a loved one, my word of advice would be take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And I would say to Ben, buddy, I have to take care of myself because I want to be ready for when you're ready. Because, you know, I want to be ready for when you're ready for recovery because I did the insanity years ago trying to get him in a rehab and all that. That doesn't work. So when he was ready, I was ready, and I advocated the crap out of it. I put my oxygen mask on myself.
That's all I keep thinking about.
Exactly, and that is it. So as a loved one, I feel you to the core. There's support out there as usual. In the description, I will link up the supports for the loved ones, for the person with the substance use disorder. And we need recovery. We need to keep them alive so that we could have more Lukes out here sharing their experience and helping others. Because there are a lot of Bens out there and we have had so many losses. It's time to change the way society looks at addiction.
It is.
We've been touched by addiction and we are here to tell you that there is hope. There is breath. Where there is breath, there is hope. And I am breathing for Ben and I both. So stay tuned. We're going to do more videos. And remember, where there is breath,
There is hope.
Amen. You got it. Peace. Take care, everybody. Thank you.